Okay, welcome to Heart Academy again. We are still in episode number 10 in this session that we are going to multiply fractions. This is a review of what we've been doing all of last week. So remember, if you go under my lab, under topics, you'll also find this worksheet I'm working from. Okay? Also, please keep in mind, if you turn in a completed practice worksheet, I'm going to give you extra hearts for those so that you can purchase a science experiment, or you can purchase a homework pass, or even if you need extra credit to supplement your grade a little bit, we can always work something out. All right? So I appreciate any extra work that you're doing. I've been recording these videos since like 11:30, 12 o'clock today. So I'm doing a whole lot just so that I can be prepared for next week, and also to help you study for midterm exams if you got one coming up. Okay? 8th graders, you got one coming up. So remember, there's also very different methods that you can use to complete fraction problems. When we multiply fractions, we really just need to multiply the numerators together, 1 times 3, and the denominators, 2 times 14, and then reduce the fraction, okay? However, I like to use a method that's called diagonally reducing first. This minimizes any reducing I may have to do at the end. In fact, for most of the problems that we're going to work with in this session, it'll probably reduce it completely before you multiply straight across. Let me show you what I'm talking about, and you've seen this in class many times. All right, so remember, if I do the reducing first, it has to be done diagonally. So that's when you hear me in class going diagonally reduce, diagonally reduce. So go diagonally. So these two numbers and then these two numbers, okay? So what I'm first going to look for in my chart is for a 1 and a 14 to see if that will reduce. This is what I mean by the chart. So I gave you a multiplication chart just like this. If you don't have one at home, go to my lab and you can download that. It's right near the worksheet. So remember, the fraction that I am trying to look at to reduce is diagonally this way, a 1 and a 14. So I'm going to write that over here so I don't forget, 1 and 14. So I'm looking for the row that has a 1 and a 14. Remember, using this method, we skip this first row. Start with 2, okay? So do I have a 1? Nope. Do I have a 1? Nope. And look at this. In the whole block over here, you can tell that you don't have 1 anymore, okay? And so if you don't have the first number, there's no need to look for the second number. Also a big clue, if your numerator is already 1, is a pretty big clue that that is already reduced as low as possible. So going diagonally, this is already reduced, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to go for the 2 and the 3. Can I find a 2 and a 3 in the same row? Okay, so I'm looking for basically 2/3 to see if this will reduce. Skipping the first row, go to go to the second row. You have a 2, but no 3. And if you look around the block, there are no more 2's either. So if you can't find this, no point in finding this. So that's your clue that this is already reduced as well. So now I know when I multiply straight across, I don't have to worry about if I have to reduce at the end, especially with this one. So let's just go ahead and multiply across. 1 times 3 is 3. And then 2 times 14. Not sure what 2 times 14 is? Check it. 2 times 14. So I got my 2. I'm going to go all the way over to 14. Look at that, 28. Okay, so now I know that my denominator is going to be 28. Remember, I already tried reducing diagonally, so I know that this is the final answer right here. All right, now question number 2 right here, I know is going to have the diagonally reducing in there because I can see the numbers clear and I can tell that all these numbers are going to reduce. So this one is actually a better example of the diagonally reducing method that I use in a classroom. So remember, this way and then this way. I'm first going to look for a 2 and a 14 in the same row. I'm going to write it over here so I don't forget. 2 and 14. Okay? Remember, skip that first row. There's my 2. There's my first 2. And now I have a 14. So 1 over 7. So this will be my 1 over 7. Okay? If you were watching the previous videos, you will recognize that when I have single digits like this, and especially with the 1 on the top, I know I do not have to go any farther than that. So this is going to be my final reduction for this fraction, 1 over 7. Okay? So I'm going to take that and replace those digits. This is what I mean. Okay, replacing those digits. This becomes a 1. Make it red so you can see it better. This becomes a 7. I've heard some students ask me, Mrs. Hart, how do I know where to put the numbers? Easy. Check it out. Here's a good way to remember. Take that 2, replace it with 1. Take that 14, replace it with 7. That's exactly what I did. Take that 2, replace it with 1. Take that 14, replace it with 7. Now let's go ahead and see where I can find a 4 and a 6. Remember skipping the first row? Look at that. I have a 4 and I have a 6 right next to each other. Okay? 4 and a 6. So remember our first original problem was 4 over 6. And I found it right next to each other, 2, 3. So you know that this is going to reduce to 2/3. Replace the 4 with a 2. Replace the 6 with a 3. Replace the 4 with a 2. Replace the 6 with a 3. Now that I already did the reducing before multiplying straight across, all I have to do is multiply straight across. 1 times 3, 3. 2 times 7, 14. Final answer. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I'm going to diagonally reduce to see if I can. This and this. Okay, first let me see if I can find an 8 and a 15. Remember, looking for an 8 and a 15. Wow, that's bright. Okay, don't use the first row. I have an 8, but no 15. No 8. Here's an 8, but no 15. And if you notice, I ran out of 8, except down here, but there's no 15. Check, 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 check. No more 8s. So I can't find the first number and the second number in the same row. So I know that 8 over 15 is as small as it's going to get. Okay, so now let's look at 8 and 9. 8 and 9. I have 8, no 9. 9, no 8. 8, no 9. No 8. No 8. No 8. 8, but no 9. 9, no 8. Look around the block. You have no 8 and 9s left. So I know that this is reduced as low as it can get already again. So that means all I have to do is multiply straight across. 8 times 8. That thing gets my nerves. I have to figure out another way for that. 8 times 8. Use a highlighter so you can see it. 8 times 8. 64. 8 times 8 is 64. Ooh, that's a little too bright. 64. And now 9 times the 15. 9 all the way over to 15. Here it is. 9 times 15. 135. Now, isn't that a high number? 135. Okay, so that is it for this one, because remember, I already tried reducing. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. 64 over 135. Let me go to number 4. I'm going to reduce diagonally here and here. Okay, first let me find a 2 and a 3. By now you should pick up that there is not going to be anything smaller than a 2 and a 3. See that? There's a 2, no 3. Then you have no more 2s. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one alone. How about a 2 and a 6? Looking for a 2 and a 6. Okay. I have a 2, I have a 6. Again, 2 and a 6. 1/3. 1/3. So I can replace that. I hit the wrong one, didn't I? 1/3. Multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 3, 9. Voila, done. I hope this helps out with the basics of multiplying fractions. The next video will concentrate on multiplying mixed numbers. See you there.